Are you guys ready for Succession episode 6? I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds, and I really like this episode too, but this episode was like, ooh, oh my god, grimy. Like, because this is shit we all think goes on, and this is shit that we all, like, people talk about, like, you know what I mean? Like, everything about this was just like, ooh, it gives you, like, nasty feelings. You know, does that make sense to people? I still liked it. Start off with, I don't want to say I was right, but, I mean, I was kind of right. Oh my god, look at this. My buddy Shannon got it for me, and she sent it to me, and I made a video of me opening it up, and I think it's the most adorable thing ever. Go watch my Succession videos if you want to be caught up to what I've been theorizing and what I've been saying was going to happen and now kind of is happening, is all of these women are sick of Ken's fucking bullshit. Lisa, sick of his shit, and now he's calling her toxic and spinning a fucked up narrative. Jess, sick of him, the fucking rabbit, all this bullshit, like, what the fuck. The social media women, they're fucking over it. Now I'm waiting for Rava to deliver the final blow, and if Katie is right and it's Stewie that Rava is with, I'm gonna... That was great. That was great. And two, good for Rava, because get the fuck out of this marriage. Even though you know Kendall's never gonna let that happen, but Ken is undermining and talking down to all these women and belittling them, thinking that they're stupid, thinking that they're dumb, and thinking that he knows more than them. And finally we have Lisa tell him, do you think you're smarter than me? And she knows, even though he's saying no, he's lying, and that's why she says, okay, maybe you're saying that shit, but I'm a better lawyer than you, okay? So listen to me, you're acting like a fucking jackass. When Ken used the word receipts, I was like, are you reporting on Real Housewives and starting beef with other channels for clout? Like, who... You don't use the word receipts if you are in the middle of the DOJ investigating you, Kendall. I did go back and pause and see when Greg was texting Kendall, and it said, oh, sorry, and it said, hey, dude, just checking in. Any update on the burning? We get to see, and, like, go watch my videos. Cousin Greg... He's ruthless when he needs to be, but he does genuinely want change. I think Cousin Greg needs to stay around, but we do see how ruthless he can fucking be this episode. When it comes to Carrie, because I see a lot of people talking about Carrie online, Logan's assistant, I think that because Marsha, and I think we are going to get a lot from Marsha. I think we are going to get stuff from Marsha. I like Marsha. She's the queen on a chessboard. The reason she's putting up with this and not going public with everything is because she's like, no, you can pay me. We'll figure all this shit out in private, and I won't go nutso and embarrass you, and I'll hold my position. She ain't no dumb bitch, like I've been saying about Marsha. She's extremely smart, and she's a queen on a chessboard. She's still protecting Logan by not going off in the streets about this shit. But I think Carrie, because you have to remember, these people are being photographed, these people are being followed, the paparazzi, all this shit, social media. I think she is not only just a flavor of the week and probably knows it, but it's a way to piss Marsha off and make her jealous, or try to, in his, like, guys try to fucking do, and we're like, really? Really? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go get somebody younger. Go get a knockoff fucking Kroger brand Abby. Feel fucking free. And I'll be fucking over here being a boss-ass motherfucker. And that's exactly what Marsha's doing. Carrie is just there to... He's just trying to piss Marsha off. And I bet she is a good worker. You wouldn't be working for Logan Roy unless you were good at your job. I'm just saying Carrie is taking advantage of it. I hate the player. I hate the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to hate on how you play the game. If that's how you want to play the game, girl. I play it differently. I am a Jerry. I realized that. I'm like, I don't think I've related more to a character. Like, I know I'm not in that, but it's like, I work with mostly men. When shit hits the fan, 90% of the time they're like, let's turn to Abby now. And it's like, okay, I'm not really in charge, but on paper, I'm not in charge. Yeah, I'm a Jerry. That's all I'm saying. Shiv is blatantly irritated this whole episode. She gets more irritated when her and Roman are joking about if Logan is fucking Carrie. And I liked that Shiv was like, oh, right, I want to ride with you now, Dad. And so Carrie's once again in the back, but she can hear everything you're saying. And we find out even more, like just after the end of the last episode, Logan, Roman, they are all pissed at Shiv and think she's stupid or whatever. They're kind of treating her like she's on the outs. She's on the outs, and that's why I'm like, she's on the chopping block for something. I don't think it'll be prison, and we'll get to Tom because now I'm scared for Tom. But Shiv is overstepping herself, and they're pissed off about it, and she made herself look like a fool. And the one time where I feel like we should have been listening to Shiv this season is at this political shit, because she worked in it. But then Roman does say, you only did that once. So it's like, I don't know, but still, like, I think that she genuinely knew what she was talking about, but because of her blunder in the last episodes, that's why she's kind of treated like shit this episode, because when she yells out, my opinion does matter more. It plays off bad, because in the last episodes when Ken is saying, oh yeah, no, you matter more because you're a girl, you matter more because you have tits, this, that, and the other, but this time it's like, no. If some motherfucker fucking came into Trim Shop and tried to tell me how to build a motherfucking truck, sir, sit down. I wish a motherfucker would. I think that Shiv knows this realm, and they are not listening to her. And I think that she was right. And Connor, I think that Logan was just trying to make Connor happy, but now I really think that Connor's going to go hard. Something in my eye. I never thought that Connor would go this hard with it. I really didn't think the show would go there with this, but I think they are, and I think he's either going to come close to winning or he's going to win, and it's going to be fucking funny. And just like how Logan Roy is based off Rupert Murdoch without them officially saying it's Rupert Murdoch, I think they take from a lot of things, and I just think it's kind of, I think it would be kind of funny to have a call girl really calling the shots, because I've been saying in all of my videos that Willa is not stupid and she knows what she's doing. She's not a dumb woman, and it's like if Connor was president, Willa would be the one having to be like, fuck man, she'd be the one actually calling the shots. And I like Willa as a character, I really do. But if you did notice this episode, Frank ain't there, Carl ain't there, Jerry ain't there, and I'm assuming that's because you also can't be seen with all of these politicians. Like this is like a Don Corleone type thing. Like you know what I mean? So we can have a bunch of people in the company to see it and know about it. Like I've been saying, once you talk about it, once you speak about it, then it makes it real, and then it can get legal, all this shit. But Shiv is actively plotting against Roman to her dad. She's plotting, because last week it was Frank plotting against the kids, and now it's Shiv is plotting against all the rest of the kids to her dad and to other people, and she's using all her connections in this episode to like kind of put down, she's trying to make moves, but she is talking shit about Roman to Logan, she is talking shit about Connor, she's going to them and acting fake as fuck, like Connor's been saying, Shiv's a fake, but I do think in this episode she probably should have been listened to the most. I did like the way how they brought up that they are the ones who start rumors, and how that goes around, and I thought that was pretty funny. Office Space's name, Petkiss. Okay, we get to, he's the other big person who funds campaigns, and him and essentially whoever him and Logan back with their money and with ATN is usually the president. So he's the other big player here. And when he gave his speech, I thought it was very funny / creepy. Not creepy, it's scary to think this shit like could possibly be happening. And it's like, oh, remember, don't tell. Essentially, nobody knows you're here, and keep it that way. Liked that guy from the Pierce family was back, and then if you really think about it, okay, Connor's a moron, he could be used as a puppet, and he'll do whatever, but he really wants this goal of being president, and I think it's just to prove to his dad that he can do something, and he just picked the hardest thing ever, and it's fucking funny, but that guy is not stupid, and remember he told him, like, in last season at Turnhaven, he's like, oh, I promised him the cabinet or some shit. He promised him some, like, he could call the shots in some big shit in the government after they were drinking buddies together, but they really still don't like each other, but they're going to work together. So it's like that guy has connections too, and this might really fucking happen, even if Logan doesn't back it. Panhandle Pete. Fucking Panhandle Pete. That was fucking hilarious. That Willow was pissed the whole time and irritated and blatantly showing it and not putting on an act. She was like, fuck this shit. I thought that her writing on the phone might have been a dig at, who's the dingus? Dude, they used the word dingus. They used the word dingus. It's in my notes somewhere. But who's the goober who wrote 50 Shades of Grey? Because that was just like a Twilight fanfic, right? But she wrote it like on her BlackBerry, so I was like, are they kind of making fun of people who do that? Because that's pretty fucking funny. But also, it's supposed to show you are disrupting Willa's work, and that's fucked up. And you don't care. You don't give a shit. And she is so embarrassed by everything Connor is saying. All in all, this guy makes a speech. They're making gross fucking jokes and to the Republic and all this stuff. And it's essentially mocking us, like in the country. Did like the Hamilton joke. I did like the Hamilton joke. I'm not gonna lie. Hamilton is great, okay? Don't come at me, fucking theater people, because I'll fucking come right back at you. Cats is weird. We have our funny dialogue all together with the siblings and them explaining to Greg, we're picking the next president. That's for us, so that we can understand what's going on. I like when Greg said, is that constitutional? And Greg not only showed how ruthless he can be this episode, but he also showed that he's no fucking coward, and he will stand by, he might sue Greenpeace, but he's gonna stand by his morals. Not 100%, but like he's not as much of a coward as the rest of these guys, and I think Logan appreciates that. He likes that. He respects that. But remember, I said a big thing in this family with Logan and Ewan is respect. Oh yeah, so then we see Logan talk to Michelle Ann from the White House, and they're like, "Yeah, great, good job, way to fuck everything up." We know that Boyer is the vice president, and I thought it was very funny how they shot this episode, because first we got Logan and Petkiss talking over here, and he's like, yeah, if you can get past the lip licking, and then on the opposite side of the room, a minute later, we get Roman making fun of the lip licking that Logan didn't notice, and I just thought it was really, it was really dry and really witty, and I liked it. Subtle is a better word. Subtle. It was very subtle, and if you didn't pick up on what they were doing this episode with the cuts, with the last episode, it was so fluid and into each other. This one, it's like cut to different parts of the room, and I really liked that. But it also gave it a different feel, and it chopped up the comedy or whatever, the drama even more. But I did, if you pick up on it or like rewatch the episode, notice that it's like we're continuing jokes with people that weren't even just saying them. It's funny. Well, it is funny, but it's also sad, like how nitpicky they are, because like there's other people during the same lip licking thing with over here. Who's saying? Are they saying something to Tom about how Boyer is a vegetarian? It's just like crazy how that is so. Because then it's like, oh, they must reflect on their politics and this and that. And it's like, maybe it doesn't. Maybe they have a health problem. I don't fucking know. But I get it in the context of the show. But it's just, it was cringe funny to be like, ooh, that probably is a thing. I feel like this light is blinding me, and I look like somebody invaded my body. I feel like I look like that. Fucking A, man. This light is so bright. Maybe I should turn on the other one. But anyway, we find out that their mom's getting remarried. I'm assuming this is a power move, but you can tell that Logan is still salty about her, and he's pissed off about this guy, but I'm curious to find out who that is. I'm assuming that's where we're gonna go, and I'm assuming they're gonna go to it because she really wants him there, but really she wants to get her digs in on Logan. But Roman is really bothered by it. It really irks him. He's like, who the fuck is this guy? I liked when him and Shiv called Kendall, and he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, and Roman is my favorite. He really is. You either love him or you hate him. And called him the seat sniffer? But that's when they use the word dingus too, and I love the word dingus. Like, if somebody timestamps it for me, I'll supercut all my dinguses together. You get Greg and Tom back together. Greg is telling Tom how Kendall's gonna burn him, and they're both obsessing over going to jail. Now this is where Tom is. Remember when I said last week that somebody might hurt themselves? I have a feeling it might be Tom. Because of the promo next week, it still makes me think it's going to be Kendall. No, somebody might live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying not to, okay, we'll say it. Like, I think somebody's going to commit suicide in this show. And I don't know. It's a very delicate subject, and I don't know. Anyway, I think somebody's going to commit suicide in this, and last week when Logan got liquor spilled on him on accident, I was like, oh no, someone's going to die, because that's what happens when somebody accidentally spills liquor on Logan. But I was like, it's not going to be Shiv. And I was like, oh my God, Kendall. And then this episode, when I started seeing how sad Tom was and how obsessed he is with jail, because at first it was kind of being played as a joke, and now it's like, no, it's fully taking over. And I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, the same thing is happening to Greg. They make a point to tell us that, but Tom is not okay. We talk about everything, then he's talking about the wine, and then Shiv finally tells him, like, shut the fuck up about this shit, and that really bothers him. That would bother anybody. Like, if I'm married to you and you, what the fuck, man? I did like that he turned Shiv down, though. I liked that. Once again, we're changing the normal gender roles in this show, and I really like it, but I did like that he finally said that to her, like, no, I have no love in this relationship. I have nothing, and I need something to keep me going. And that's the other part that makes me think something's gonna happen to Tom, and I'm like, fuck. But I did like that he told her to fuck off. God, Connor trying to pimp Willa out, that was fucked up. And now I'm kind of worried for Willa, because I know that Alan Ruck said, like, his character does some fucked up shit this season, but when he was trying to, like, pimp her out to people, it's like, man, fuck that shit. And then it's like, oh no, this would be totally okay in your eyes because I'm a call girl, but really it's like, no, man, no. Forcing people to do anything, I don't give a fuck what they do. I don't give a fuck if they're a sex worker. I don't give a fuck what it is. If you force somebody to do something that's not okay, or if you fucking just, shit, that was gross. And I was glad that Willa stood up for herself. Roman is talking to Mencken, is that it? And I liked when Mencken came up and said, and that guy's a total fucking piece of shit, but when he said, tell me who your enemy is and I'll tell you, it was a good line, but I liked how Roman said, well, we'll put a pin in that, because Roman knows better than to give these people any fucking information whatsoever. They are there to kiss his dad's ring and his ring, so step off. I don't have to tell you shit, and I'm not stupid. Now, this is the first time in the episode, though, where we get several different people say, well, Logan's going to jail. Logan's getting locked up. Like, they are stupid for not knowing that, but Roman is the first one to get a whiff of that. And I can't remember exactly what he says, but it's very slight. He's like, well, you know, if your dad goes, or when your dad goes. There's a way he says it where it's like, Logan's going to prison, and Roman's like, and he gets quiet, like, what the fuck do you know? And he's like, and like I said, private jets being taken away is a bigger deal than the board seats. Because now you're taking away my ability to get away. We get Greg and Tom all together, and like, even this, it isn't as funny as it usually is, but we get the Christmas tree nickname, and because we can hang crimes off you like ornaments and all this and that, and I really think they want us to believe that Tom is going to go down, but I don't think it is going to be Tom. I really don't. And that's what, and I think I'm worried about Tom, and every recap I've done, I've been like, Tom's been on point, Tom this, Tom that, and then I'm like, oh my God, this would make total sense for us to think it's going to be Kendall, but then I'm like, no, it might, and then this episode, I'm like, oh my God, Tom might do something to himself. Talking about jail, they're eating what they think is terrible food, but really it's just like the food that we eat all the time. This is another part that nodded towards Tom was giving up, is when he said, I eradicate hope. And it's like, oh my God. Greg asks him if he can pin all his crimes on him, which it's like, you kind of did rope me into this, but it's like, no, Greg, you did this on your own accord too. You're a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass man, and you made that choice. You know what I mean? Like, I can feel bad for so long, but you're an adult. And Tom accepts it, and that's the other thing that makes me think something bad's gonna happen to Tom, and not jail. I'm like, he's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't even care anymore. You have Kendall totally blowing it with the DOJ and fucking up, and then, like I said, firing Lisa, calling her toxic. The social media women are blatantly panicking, but notice when he was screaming and yelling, don't ever fucking do that. You don't ever fucking pop off in a police station or a federal building if you are in trouble, okay? Or try, don't do that. Don't do that. You go where people can't fucking hear you. Nope. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get help, dude. It just means that you're spitting out free information. But this is just to show how entitled Kendall is. Like, yeah, you want change, but you are disrespecting these, like, you're disrespecting this building. You are disrespecting it. You are disrespecting these people with your behavior at their workplace, and you should be taking yourself more seriously. But you think you are above the law, and that they should they should say how high when you say jump. But it's like, obviously, the government is not fucking around when it comes to these people anymore. But he's just like, man, I didn't get my way. Man, it went bad. So why isn't anybody doing anything? And it's like, no, what are you doing, you fucking moron, first and foremost? Second, it's just like, you think that makes them want to help you? No, they're looking at you going, yeah, you're disrupting my day because I'm at fucking work and now I fucking hate you even more. Another thing I was thinking, and I don't know, I kind of thought that Kendall might, he might shoot up the shareholder meeting. That's kind of what I thought. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be like a Columbine situation, and then he's going to kill himself. Like, that's kind of what I thought was going to happen, and then I was like, but there's no evidence for that, really. But then he said this in this episode, let's stick a rocket up their ass, or I should put a rocket up their ass, and yells it, and I'm like, that shouldn't be yelled in buildings full of, I don't think we should do that. Then when he called Tom in this episode and said, where are you? And he was like, Virginia, and he's like, at the whatever, and then he goes, what part of the building? I was like, oh my God, is he gonna fucking do some shit, and then fucking do some shit to himself? Like, what is happening? Like, I really kind of thought that was an option here for a minute. We get Boyer and Logan talking, and Logan is looking for him to grovel to him, and Boyer brings up how he wants to go against tech, everything that Logan wants, Boyer is saying he'll do, and Logan is still like, yeah, okay, and Logan's getting a little too big for his britches, which is pretty big. We're calling the primary the ATN primary. This is exactly what I mean, just like last week, who's going to show their belly first, and that's all this episode was to Logan. Which one of you are going to come to me and roll over like a dog first? And we found out who. That fucking piece of shit, Mencken. We have Kendall undermining women. The social media people are blatantly looking like they're in a panic. He says put out there that Lisa is toxic, and then he's just shit talking her. We have Greg saying that he's going to sue Greenpeace for defamation and get his money, but we all know that he's just doing it without the defamation, and he wants his fucking money. That's what I mean. Greg is fucking ruthless. But when he says he was like, for my country, I'm going to say, and he says it in a stupid, funny Greg way, but he's like, I wouldn't vote for him. That's not right. I don't want to vote for Connor. We also get Shiv talking to, so each one of them want a different candidate, and Shiv wants Salgado, if I'm correct. I'm guessing on that. I think it's Salgado. And he's flat out saying, sell your dad out and I'll promote you. And she's like, maybe in a month. Like, she's trying to, they're using this funny way of talking of not saying things exactly, and they all understand it. And she's like trying to tell him, like, no, like in a month, I've already got shit in the works. And still, he's not having it, which tells me the government is ready to fucking go. And then that's when I think Shiv realized it too. I think she was like, that's weird. But notice, none of these kids went and talked to each other about it because they're too busy plotting against each other. But if they all would have came together and went, he said some shit about dad going to jail. He said some shit about dad going to jail. He's saying shit about dad going to jail. They would have found out. But then they would have to tell Logan, and then Logan would have been like, oh yeah, remember when I was all fucked up last week and I told you there was some shit going on? This is the shit. Tom talking about the prison toilet with that guy, and Greg, oh my God, my foot's asleep so bad. But that was pretty funny. Your toilet can be a bastard. Headkiss was just like the grossest person. The guy from Office Space, the guy running the thing, he was just the grossest fucking thing. Oh, and that's what I mean about Pierce, the guy, Maxim Pierce. He's pushing Connor several times in the background. Like, we might be focusing on a different character, but if you listen to the audio, he's pushing Connor a lot to a lot of people. Had Boyer telling Logan how he was going to be anti-tech and all this shit and be on his side, and now in front of everybody, he's saying pro-tech shit. He's flip-flopping. Everybody's flip-flopping. To Logan's face, they're saying one thing. To Roman's face, they're saying one thing. To Shiv's face, they're saying one thing. But to everybody else, they're saying something else. And then we have Connor, Willa, and Maxim on their own running, I guess. Like Roman just laughing at everything people were saying, but when Shiv was like, man, you are so fucking boring about Mencken, I loved that because, one, it's true. And she was essentially just saying, you're a fucking troll, dude. Like, everything she's saying is a pretentious way of saying, oh, cool, you're polarized. Same thing I say on here all the time. You're polarizing, and you like to say stupid, fucked up shit so you can get clicks and fucking views and get people to like you. Cool, we got it. We got the memo. It's played out. Who said, another one said, because I don't have it wrote down, but somebody says, fuck, is it Mencken? Yeah. So Mencken is saying, fuck ATN. Logan Roy is a icon, but he's done, or he's no longer relevant. But then, and make sure, double check me, everybody. That's the same guy who they pick later on, but it's a perfect way to set it up that you don't like, to the outside, they think you don't like him, but really, you're the one getting him Coca-Colas. And no, I did not put this out, if this is your first time here, as a reference to Succession. I just really love Santa Coke, and Coca-Cola, you need to put them back on the regular size cans. You can still donate to fucking polar bears. Santa Coke, back on our cans. Everybody tweet at fucking Coca-Cola, because I've been doing this for like years now. I liked when they were all alone in the room, when Greg does step up and say something, Hugo says, should Greg be here? And Logan's like, yeah, like, because, like I said, he's got a soft spot for Greg. And we have Shiv saying, go Democrat. He's like, no, fuck that. And it's a whole political argument. But then, like I said, Connor's finally like, I'll do it. And then I do think that Logan was just trying to keep Connor happy, but at the same time, I do think he knows this is a serious possibility. He's like, no, I'm going to stroke your ego right now so you don't fucking do nothing crazy. but I really don't want you to get this job. But this is a fucking possibility. Why not? Doing her monologue, but like I said, I do think she was right, but she fucked up in the past few episodes, and she fucked up big. And Roman goes 7 years ago, and then humming. What was he humming? Was it the national anthem? Oh my god, that shit was funny. But you can tell that Tom is totally tuned out. He doesn't care. I think Logan is picking up on that. Something's running through the hallway, but Logan is picking up on that, and that's why he says, "What about you, Tom?" And Tom, I don't think was paying attention at all. He's thinking about jail, and then he says, "Oh yeah, whatever Shiv said." Kendall calling Tom. When Tom and Ken go to eat, this is totally fucked up. So Kendall's totally bluffing. Tom is just trying to hold his own. They're arguing back and forth, but they're rich people arguing. And then it gets very down and sad because Kendall goes on full attack mode. And this is another thing. It really showed that Tom does care and has feelings because he's like, I fell in love with your sister. And Kendall's like, yeah, okay, bullshit. That's what Kendall's doing. He's like, yeah, bullshit. And he's like, what the fuck, man? I think this is when Tom fully realizes how bad these people are. Just thought that was very telling and very sad. And then, like I said, Kendall's bluffing. He's lying to Tom. He's grasping at straws. And I think that this bluff might push Tom over the edge. Like I said, he just feels completely alone, and it's sad. And then him taking pictures of him, I would break your shit. I would break your shit. Make it seem like I'm some maniac who just breaks people's phones if they're recording or something. Like, no, but it's like, if we have something going on and we are family or we are that tight and you whip out your phone, I'm breaking that shit. If jail is on the line, I'm breaking that shit. Oh my god, but the greatest line of that whole thing was, I've seen you get fucked so many times, Kendall, and I've never seen Logan get fucked. Then after that, with Kendall, we have Tom walking through this building, feeling completely alone. You know he feels isolated, and then he sees Greg being lifted up by all these assholes, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, and I've gone into detail about why I think the Greg relationship bothers Tom so much, and it's because of what Shiv has done to him, and so Greg was like his last rock, and it's like, that's not what Greg wanted to happen, but to Tom it looked like something totally different. Like, he has nobody now. He has no one, and so he's being essentially ignored and completely isolated over here, sees Greg with them, walks through, and then he comes back into the room, and I think he realizes, wow, none of you even knew I left. I don't even fucking matter. And then Shiv looks at him, and he's like, yeah, how long have you been sitting there not knowing I'm not here? Hear them talking about Connor running, and he's like, well, he's not affiliated with the company, which is a plus right now, but he still has connections, which is a plus, and, he doesn't have a record. He's clean, so that's a plus. And then we have the Coca-Cola shit, where essentially Logan is saying to Boyer, if you bring me a Coca-Cola, if you come crawling to me and bring me some shit like a servant, I'll back you. Well, we see Boyer there, but he doesn't bring the Coca-Cola. And Roman goes to talk to that piece of shit Mencken. And that's when we get that back and forth. Fascists are cool. Like, Roman was super fucking funny, but this was a very gross conversation. Like I said, when it comes to, like, the politics and talking about people, and it's like, man, that is so fucked up, you know? And we get their whole back and forth, and you can tell Roman's like, Roman doesn't give a he says it in the episode. He's like, I don't give a fuck about politics. He does not give a fuck about the little guy. He just wants shit to keep going the way it is. You do think what bothered Roman, and what bothered Roman was when he said, I think you're going to need our push. And he said, I think you're going to need mine. And he's like, maybe. And he fucking knows. He's like, fuck this guy, man. Like, I can't wait to use him like a little fucking puppet. He tells Mencken about the Coca-Cola thing. So he brings the Coca-Cola to Logan and kisses it like he's kissing the ring. But notice who drinks it. Roman. Roman is the one who drinks it, because Roman, like I said, is like, I'm going to use the fuck out of this guy, and I just knocked it out of the park with my dad. There's a whole bunch of meanings behind that, but I did like that. And like I said, it's just, this episode is just like, ooh, because it's like they're talking about us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a factory worker. I'm a fucking factory worker. I'm a middle-class, big three fucking factory worker. And it sucks. Don't, it hurts. I'm 28, my entire body is broken. But anyway, I do like my job, though. But kind of. I'm very good at it. But, yeah. So I think that's why this episode was a little, but it was still funny. And like I said, I think Tom's going to hurt himself, or Kendall. That's what's going to happen. Really sad. But, what else was the other fascist one? What was it? I know I have it wrote down. When the fascists hoisted you over their shoulders like the Stanley Cup. When Tom was talking to Greg, that was fucking funny. Of Shiv ratting to Salgado, her politician she wanted to win, like, man, I thought you were going to be the one to put my dad in jail. Almost like, yep, please go ahead and push that. Roman fucked up. I think that, like, Shiv has been fucking up. This is where Roman's fuck up is. Unless Connor magically wins, this is where Roman's fuck up is. Because Shiv was right when her dad was like, come take this photo. And I think that's why Logan knows either I need to be scared because my daughter is pissed and I don't know what she'll do, or he's like, fuck, maybe I should have listened to her, but I can't fucking say that, and I'm going to be too proud and stubborn to say so. Crying that this is getting bad? No, it's getting better, and you just don't get it. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being dead serious. Like, I see so many people complaining, and I'm like, what? Because they're not just talking about dicks and cunts and farts anymore? Like, it's serious now, and you have to follow it? Like, I don't understand the negativity around this season, or maybe it's just the stuff I'm seeing, but, I mean, the people I tweet with and the people I talk to are all speaking very highly of this, and I like that it's getting this serious. And like I said, it's war. It's fucking war. If this was a swords and sandals time fucking thing, and we were at war, yeah, that vibe is very different. The vibe in Game of Thrones is very different when we're going to battle for the Battle of the Bastards, and when Tyrion is drinking at the bar. There's a different tone. One is kind of fun, and one is fucked up, you know what I mean? And intense and scary. And it's like, that's what's going on here for a whole season. And people are like, man, why is it like this? It's not as good. And I'm like, no, it's a totally different tone. But I'm not hating on anything. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm not talking shit about anybody. I'm just saying, like, maybe just open up your mind a little bit more and think about it in a little bit different of a way. I did like that, and I did like that Shiv stood her ground and was like, no, I'm not taking a picture with that motherfucker. Okay, fine, I'll stand on the side. But it's like she didn't stand her ground, but I did like that she was like, Dad. Because that's what I mean. Nobody was allowed to say they were there. Nobody was allowed to say anything. Nobody knew. It's a big secret thing. And now you're taking a fucking photo with just one person, so it's like they can't prove anybody else was there. But we don't want to be, Dad, we don't want to take a picture with this guy. We don't want to be involved with this guy. This one's way shorter than last week. Last week was super long because there was a longer episode, and it was super funny, and there was a lot of detail in it. There wasn't in this, but because there is, but that one had way more. Like I said, you're taking away the private jets. Gotta go watch my other fucking video. But yeah, I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds. Thank you again, Shannon. I love this. But yeah, remember to like, share, subscribe. Kyle, I hope you feel better. Kyle, who won our giveaway, I went to go take him the Loki horns, and he was super sick, and I felt really bad. Get well soon. Oh shit! And we got Spider-Man videos coming out. We got everything. Me and Maya have so much MCU shit to dump. I have to get all the MCU stuff out. So let's get all the MCU stuff out. MCU stuff coming up. Like, share, subscribe. I'm Abby. All of my social media is down in the description. And have a good week. It's Monday, isn't it? It's my Sunday. Like I have Mondays off, and it's pretty fucking great. Let me tell you. But yeah, everybody have a good week.